I'm actually going to record this on the new computer. When I did my counselling studies back in 2003, I only did stage 1. I didn't do the whole course, like, but we involved quite a lot of reading, a lot of understanding, and a lot of my mother was also a nurse years ago. She was she actually had a lot of experience with psychosis and obsessive compulsive behavior order. I never actually expected to actually encounter this in my personal experience, but I think a lot of people refer to people like this as crazy Karens. In America, at least, that's the term that they often use. It's a situation of control, obsessive control and dominance over other people's free will. The biggest problem is it's progressive, it escalates, it's like a roller coaster. I'm not going to mention their names, but I met this person in Second Life, and I was trying to figure this person out for the last few weeks, well, probably a month or two, because I thought there's something wrong here. But basically, the person accused somebody of deeply offending her, causing a great deal of trauma to this person. But there was no reason given. There was no, oh, did this, did that, blah, blah, blah. There was none of that. I thought, this is very odd. Normally, when somebody has a vengeance streak, or a motive, or a compulsion to get back at somebody, there's a good reason for it. There's there's a logical reason. Like, if you stub your toe, I hate this freaking dog, you know, sort of situation, right? But it was something else. You just could not put your finger on it. There was a desire, desperation in this person's behaviour, in wanting revenge for something. And the activity, the behaviour was very, very chaotic. Round and round and round, circling, 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 circling. And I thought, this is not right, this is not normal. Normally, if there's a problem, you would come out and say, oh, they did this to me, or they did that to me. But that wasn't what was happening. It was crazy. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here with this person? What is it? And so it was a bit of a go back and forwards of dialogue, but nothing came forward as regards the motivation and the sense of wanting to get back at this other person who had deeply offended her. But when she came to the position of requesting the owner of this sim to do something about this other person who had offended her. There was no logistical reason why. There was no terms of service broken. There was no terms. There was no reason why this guy shouldn't do anything to facilitate her wishes, because as far as everyone else was concerned, the guy hadn't done anything wrong. But there was a huge amount of tension and suspicion in the air because of this accusation. And there was a Laurel and Hardy sketch done many, many years ago, I think it was in the 1930s, called Tit for Tat. It's where Laurel slaps Hardy and Hardy slaps Laurel, but it was more than that. It was where people just won't give in. They just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's this childish game, very childish game, but it was emphasising what Tit for Tat was, that it was silly. It was childish, and the adult thing to do would be just shrug it off and say, I learned something from that. But this particular person, it wasn't. They weren't giving in, and we couldn't understand why. So when the owner of the sim refused to take action because there was no reason to, he became the target. So, huh? He's done nothing wrong. He had no reason to do anything, to take any action against this person who was claimed to be an offence to the woman. So why should he do anything? Because there was no evidence, there was nothing there to act upon, there was no terms of service broken. So all of a sudden, now she hates two people. So this goes on and on for a few days. A little bit of dialogue in between about what, well, yeah, what's this, what's that, you know. And it got to the point where I just said, enough is enough. This is ridiculous. And I said, stop. Just stop. Because you're just making it worse. This is what I said to her. I said, please stop. Because all you do is escalating this problem and making it worse. And guess what? She banned me too. And I'm glad. I am so freaking glad, because I don't have to listen to all that bickering anymore. So she made three people her enemy because of a reason. There is no reason. This is what you call psychosis. It's compulsive, behavioural. It's when people will not give in for whatever reason is the problem, which there was no problem there. It's just that maybe her feelings were hurt. Maybe she had some crazy thing going on in her head. And I actually said to her, I said, this is all about nothing. You're making a big thing out of nothing. And it was nothing. It was all nothing. And you hear these stories about where people pull up their car in a parking lot to fly their drone. They're not doing any harm to anyone. They pull their car up in a parking lot and they want to fly their drone, and flying the drone, and somebody comes along, hey, you can't fly your drone here. No, you can't fly your drone here. I'm going to report it. I'm going to call the police. They're called Karens, right? This is the same kind of person, exactly the same kind of person that makes a huge thing out of nothing, right? So you get these people that you come across, you meet people, doesn't matter if it's in real life or second life, but sometimes the ones in second life or in a virtual simulation, they can be a lot worse because you have no idea who the hell they are. You don't know their names, you don't know their background, you don't know anything apart from the way that they're acting, and they're acting like complete craziness. Now, back in the 1960s, you used to medicate these people, right? But now they're all out there, everywhere, and they need help, but there's nobody coming out to help them. So we get inundated with all this shit, and it hurts all of us. It hurts our feelings, it hurts all of us, but we have to bite on something and think we can't do nothing about them because they're. And I'm not surprised the world's in such a state right now. Because you just gotta let it go. If somebody says something to you in the street, look, you know about me, I'm transgender, right? All my life people have been going, you know, pulling faces and making gestures and calling me names. Ah, you bastard, you're thinking, yeah. All my life people have been calling me names. And I got to the point where I thought, well, so what? Because they're not worth it. They're never going to understand. You could stand there, give them a 10-hour lecture about your transgenderism or your dysphoria, your transphobia, your dysphoria. You could give them a long lecture. But there's another 50 people like that out there who are you're just going to attract a hornet's nest. Because you explain it to one person and they're going to give half a story, twist the story into something completely different than what it's supposed to be. They're going to misunderstand everything. Tell somebody else the completely wrong part of the story. Somebody else is going to say, oh, I heard this and that. And you say, no, I never said that. No, you've got it all backwards. So before you know it, you've got half a dozen people that have got all the wrong end of the stick. They're all giving you a hard time. So what's the best what's the best course of action? Just ignore them. Because they'll never understand. If you saw a spaceship or a pink elephant flying through the sky and you tried to explain that this pink elephant looked like it had 5 legs, you can guarantee that somebody's going to say, oh, you saw a pink elephant with 6 legs. No, I saw a pink elephant with 5 legs. Always exaggeration. That's what they do. They exaggerate everything because people thrive on gossip. That's the way people are. The best way is not to give them anything. You don't tell them F all, because if you tell them one thing, they're going to exaggerate it. They're going to lay it on thick. That's what they do. Because a lot of these people are attention seekers. They look for attention. They want to get points, brownie points. Oh, guess what I know? I know something you don't know. Oh, come on. It's childish. This is childishness, right? Taking us back to kindergarten. So, you get these people, you meet people like that in Second Life, you meet people like that in real life. It doesn't make any difference where the hell you meet them. They're everywhere. The Karens. The psychosis. You know what? If they only learn that one lesson, don't make a big thing out of a little thing, their lives would be so much better. But you know what? They're shooting themselves in the foot, because all they're doing is offending, upsetting everybody. Then they wonder why nobody wants to come to their simulator. Nobody wants to go and look in there, what they've built. Oh no, don't go over there, she's nuts, she's fucking crazy. That's what happens. You go making a big thing out of a little thing and going around blah 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 blah. All you're doing is upsetting everyone around you, and next thing you know, nobody wants to talk to you. You see? Why don't they get it? I don't know. But that's what happens. And I'm not losing no freaking sleep over it. Because it's not worth it. Thanks for watching.